Assalamu alaikum. In today's video, we are looking at another game of Mikhail Tal which he played against Eduard Gufeld. In this game, Mikhail Tal made a brilliant 10 move combination which helps him to win this game very easily. Mikhail Tal in this game was playing as a white, so he started the game with the e4. Black played d6, bulk defense, d4, knight to f6 attacks the e4 pawn, so knight to c3 defends it. G6 preparing the bishop to G7 and now bishop to G5. C6, queen to D2. Queen to D2 is a very simple yet very powerful move because queen to D2 prepare the queen side castling, and if black play short side castle, then Mikhail Tal can play bishop to H6 forcing the bishop's exchange. So now bishop captures, queen captures, and after this Mikhail Tal can push his pawn with the G4 or H4, and that's how he can easily expose his opponent's king. That's why in this position he played queen to d2, black played b5, and now bishop to d3. Why bishop to d3? Because with the b5 black is threatening the next move with the b4, and when this knight moves let's say to a4, then black can play knight captures on e4 and he can win a pawn. So bishop to d3 defend this pawn, and now bishop to g7, knight to f3, H6 attacks the bishop and Mikhail Tal saves it on the e3. Black again attack it with the knight to g4 because he knows this dark square bishop is a key piece for Mikhail Tal to attack on his king side. That's why black is constantly attacking this bishop. Mikhail Tal again saves it with the bishop to f4, but black again attacks it with the e5, and now d captures on e5, d captures on e5, bishop to g3, and now h5 with the simple plan of h4. So Mikhail Tal attacks the opponent knight with the h3 and now h4. H captures on g4, h captures on g3, rook captures on h8 check, bishop captures on f8, and now queen to h6. First in this position black played g captures on f2 check. Stop the video and try to find what should Mikhail Tal play in this position. Well, Mikhail Tal in this position didn't capture the pawn. He played king to e2, and from this position Mikhail Tal 10 moves combination has started, the one I was talking about earlier in this video. So black saves it, his bishop on the f6, and now g5 attacks the bishop, so bishop to e7, queen to h8 check, bishop to f8, queen captures on e5 check, bishop to e6, and now Mikhail Tal sacrifices his knight with the knight captures on b5, c captures on b5, and after bishop captures on f5, knight to d7, and now rook to d1, and now Mikhail Tal is putting some pressure on the pinned knight on the d7 square. But in this position black made a blunder and he played queen to e7. Why this is a blunder? Because now Mikhail Tal can play a brilliant rook captures on d7, sacrificing his rook. Capturing the rook with the queen does not look like a good idea. That's why he played bishop captures on d7. So what this move does, because of bishop captures on d7, now this black queen is pinned to the king. That's why Mikhail Tal first played bishop captures on d7 check. Again you cannot capture it with the queen because it is pinned. So king captures on d7, and after queen to d5 Mikhail Tal has forked this rook and the king. So king to c7, and now queen captures on a8, and this position is winning for Mikhail Tal because he has the two extra pawns in the endgame. So this combination was started from the 16th move and now this is 26th move. So now we can imagine how far Mikhail Tal can see. But if we go back to the 15th move, and in this position if Mikhail Tal don't play king to e2, let's say in this position he play king captures on f2, but again black can play bishop to f6, g5, bishop to e7, queen to h8 check, bishop to f8, queen captures, bishop to e6, and now knight captures on b5, again knight sacrifice, c captures on b5, bishop captures on b5, and now after knight to d7, rook to d1. But in this position black can save himself with the queen to b6 check. Because of the king on f2 black has the tempo, so when the king moves he can easily play the queenside castle, and now this knight is guarded by this rook and the king, and that's why this position is totally winning for the black. So that's why in this position he didn't capture the pawn on the f2. Now coming back to the game, black continued his game with the queen to c5 attacking the c2 pawn. Mikhail Tal saves it with the c3, but now queen to c4 check, king captures on f2, Bishop to c5 check, king to g3, and now queen captures on a2. That's a very basic principle in chess. Whenever you are up in material, always go for the exchange, and that's what Mikhail Tal does in this position. He offers the queen exchange, black accepts it, and now after e captures on d5, again this position is winning for Mikhail Tal because he has the two extra pawns. But black still continued the game with the king to d6, attacks the pawn, so now c4, bishop to e3, b4, a6, king to g4, bishop to c1, knight to e1, bishop to e3, and now knight to d3 defend this b4 pawn. Bishop to d2, g3, king to c7, c5, king to d7, knight to e5 check, king to c8. Again stop the video and try to find the winning move for Mikhail Tal in this position. Should he play knight captures on f7, trade the pawns, or should he play knight to d3, defend this pawn on the b4? Well, he didn't play any of this move. He played a d6, and black happily accepts the sacrifice. He played bishop captures on b4, but now Mikhail Tal played a d7 check, and after king to c7 he again brilliantly sacrificed his knight with the knight to c6. It's very simple. You cannot capture this knight because of d8 is equal to queen. That's why in this position black is forced to play king captures on d7, but now knight captures on b4 and a5, and after knight to d3 black resigned in this position. The reason is very simple, because Mikhail Tal has this extra knight on the board, and that is just totally winning for him. So I hope you like this brilliant game of Mikhail Tal, and if you like it, please like this video, subscribe to this channel to get more amazing and inspiring content.